Hey, happy Memorial Day weekend for those in the United States. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I've been busy all day. Next week is supposed to be hotter than Satan's jockstrap. That's wonderful. I love the heat. I made a couple of these today. I took a little free time. It's made out of buckskin. I don't know if you like it or not, but got a little stamp on the back. I cut this out and sewed it. Those are great for walking in the woods, the deep woods. Very nice. I did make a matching kilt out of buckskin to go with it, but I'm not going to show that in this video. I think the level of ridicule might be incredibly high, but hey, at least I can make my own clothing, right? It's good to have skills. Half this video is a bit of the what's going on now stuff, but I think the majority of it's not, so that's the reason why I'm not titling that video this way. I've been enjoying the live streams. I always enjoy the live streams, but they've been more intense lately. At least I think they have been. And I do read every comment. Obviously, I don't respond to everyone. I want to tell you something that I've actually seen a lot, something both very good and also too very troubling, and something that I've heard from a few Army guys that shops that I go to. Actually, one was ex-Marine, and actually the other guy is ex-Marine too. Anyway, a lot of people have been telling me in the comments, by a lot, I mean substantial amount, and I've never seen this before over the many years. People are essentially telling me that they thought that they were going crazy, not literally, but kind of so, until they saw my videos on what's going on, the videos that I title What's Going On, and kind of saying, what's going on. And there are an awful lot of people that are, well, I don't know about an awful lot, but there are a substantial number of people that are actually talking about reset and so on and so forth, and the things that are going on, central bank digital currency. It's just basically we'll call it a glitch in the matrix, to use a euphemism that today's Gen Xers and Gen Z people are certainly very familiar with. I'd like to talk about that in a second. I don't know if you know this or not, but the senators were issued, the United States senators were issued satellite phones. They only do that when the poo's about to hit the fan. I'm not going to jump to any conjectures on that front, but the senators were issued satellite phones. You could go take a look at that. The craziness, of course, just keeps rolling on and on. I found out that the BBC, of course, the BBC is absolutely horrific. I listened to them when I was living in Russia. There were some of the few English broadcasts that I could listen to while living in Russia. They got a new service called BBC Verify. And it's basically where they try to crush information that they don't want people hearing. It's like, well, we're going to stop disinformation. They've got a team of disinformation gurus going to let you know what's true and what's not. People didn't start worrying about disinformation until the truth started getting out, actually. I don't know if you know this or not. If you don't, then you should. If you don't know it, then shame on you. There's no greater disinformation source than basically any government, and of course the media is the mouthpiece of any and every government. I'm not really interested in politics. I just believe in freedom and being left the hell alone. Government and laws and police only exist, make note of this, because I've never heard anybody say this. It's very succinct. Government, police, and laws only exist to keep stupid, evil, and ignorant people in check. Those who have a half a brain, who have a little bit of wisdom, and follow natural order, they have no need for either police or laws or government. But unfortunately, most of the world is not like that, and is really bad as far as the lack of that now. There's a new bill proposed in the United States that allow the government to track users' online info and allow so-called disinformation experts to rule out what they are called behavioral goals. The Digital Platform Commission Act of 2023 will establish a new federal agency that could organize hearings, investigations, assess fines, establish rules through engagement and public rulemaking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that violates the First Amendment. Pretty sure that violates the First Amendment, but that's going on. What's been happening, and it's way worse than I thought, because I do read every comment once again, and I get a lot of emails from people. It's like, I talked to my neighbor here in Australia, I talked to my, my family in New Zealand and England and Romania, that there's been a huge vacuum created regarding theft and defense and just general societal order. People stealing things just completely off the hook. And this normal city of Lexington, and this is a very normal middle-of-the-road city. It really is. It's gotten really bad. I've asked a lot of people all the hell over the place of the city. There's a vacuum that's being created, and it will be filled by citizens. And this is going on globally. I don't know if you know that or not, but it's people say, well, it's just bad Chicago. And we heard about, Crunchyville. Crunchyville, which would be like any place on the west coast of Oregon. Eastern Oregon, I know, is basically like Kentucky. Seattle, Washington. No, it's going all, Kansas. I've heard reports from two people about Kansas. The land of Dorothy and Toto. By the way, do you know what disinformation and a conspiracy means? By the way, conspiracy is a term drummed up by the CIA. Fact, go look that up. Disinformation and conspiracy means things that the government and the government's oligarchs are these tech monopolies in California and a few others. That's the reason why the United States government was so pissed at Elon Musk buying out Twitter, because Twitter was literally a bought and paid for puppet, essentially so. It's not a conspiracy, that's a fact. Elon Musk even released the records proving this. I don't care what anybody thinks about Elon Musk, I'm no great fan of his one way or the other, but he did release the information that Twitter as an entity, before he bought it out and found out what the heck was going on under the hood. He had to buy it before he could see underneath the hood, which you don't buy a car that way. Like, I want to see under the hood. Well, you can look under the hood as soon as you buy it. That it was a bought and paid for entity. It was a total puppet by the U.S. government, and probably by the EU and Britain as well, actually. But yeah, the disinformation conspiracy means things that the government don't want you to know and 100% don't want you to discuss. The glitch in the matrix that everybody's noticing, and I see it. I just went to the grocery store a few hours ago. You think you'd be used to it, but unlike most people who are in zombie mode, they really are. Unfortunately, people don't have a situational awareness. You see all these young, healthy people, walking around like this. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And you just want to, I don't want to say the words, but you just want to, It's like, what is wrong with you? You're like 23 years old in perfect physical condition. Give it a rest. What people do is none of my business. Yeah, I'm talking theoretically here. The glitch in the Matrix is not actually a glitch. It's an age-old Hydra. Hydra like, in the movies. Perfect analogy. It's an age-old Hydra rearing its head once again. These are a bunch of knuckle-dragging, pseudo-intellectual fools that think they know better than you do about how to run your life and your family and your children. Here's something funny that's not actually funny. These experts that tell you that they're smarter than you, and unfortunately a lot of you believe them. Like I pointed out that video, the guy that's literally the god of quantum. He is their god. He's dead now, of course, Richard Feynman. But I said just go type in the 7-minute video, Feynman explains magnetism. It's 1,000 copies of it on YouTube. This guy doesn't know anything. He never explained. He talks about an old woman slipping on the ice. These are the sort of experts that I'm talking about, and they're across the field of academia and government. By the way, no offense if you live in California or New York or New Jersey or Chicago, but the biggest smug, you know what smug is? Go look up the English word smug. Pseudo-intellectual, self-important snobs. The biggest smug in the United States, of course you can find it everywhere, obviously you can, is on the East Coast and the West Coast. Yeah. But these people elect the dumbest people. These people make the dumbest choices. These people are so isolated from reality. They're living in a nutshell, sniffing their own flatulence. These people couldn't survive in the woods for one day. And yet these people think they're smarter than you. So you're uneducated. You don't have a degree. Yeah, but I know how nature works. I know how life works. I could survive in the woods. I know a lot of things that you don't know that you didn't get with your college degree. And I spent myself, in case you're wondering, many years in college. Yeah, they were wasted. The only good I got out of college was spending time in the university library, which is really, really good. And I've got a godlike skill of finding really good. Some people will read a whole book before they realize the book is garbage. I can flip through a book in 30 seconds. No exaggeration. It is a piece of crap. So I'm really good at finding good materials. But yeah, these are the people that think they're better than you and smarter than you. They've elected the dumbest people. They don't know anything. They don't know the way the world works. They're clueless. Absolutely flat out clueless. This is something you should be proud of. A normal person might get angry at this fact. But no, it should make you feel proud. It's like, these are the people that think they know stuff and they don't actually know anything. By the way, this is my own personal position, which happens to be factual. You know what an extremist is? What is it? Extreme? Here's what it is by today's definition. Somebody that believes in free will and freedom, doesn't believe in the media, doesn't believe in the government, people that believe in natural order and that their children are their own to teach and raise. Yeah? At least here in the United States, you could take your kid out and homeschool him. You couldn't do that under any commie government. I know this for a fact, having lived in a communist country, because then you would actually learn the way the world really works instead of being brainwashed by the government. Also, to someone who is in the extreme, is people that don't believe in authorities. By the way, in formal debates, there is no such thing as an authority. Here's what you need to do. You need to, trust me, I don't pretend to be any expert on financials, and I'm only going to say this in a tiny little blurb here. People need to engage in asset. Everybody keeps talking about gold, silver, or platinum. I believe in gold. None of those things are an investment. Gold is not an investment, neither is silver, even though silver is the best. Not an investment, though. These are asset diversifications. You ever heard the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket? CBDC used to be called a conspiracy. Now it's an established, known fact. It's headed like an unstoppable freight train down the tracks. You need to sit back with you and your wife or significant other and determine what percentage that you can diversify into hard assets. You know what a real hard asset is? What's his face? Kiyosaki. Even though I don't like Kiyosaki. He seemed like a good guy, even though I don't like him. He kind of repeats himself over and over and over and over again. He said, he calls it God's money. The stuff that the government don't print. If the government can make it, fart it into existence, it's not a real asset. It's fiat currency. Silver's the best, by the way. Don't buy gold. It's a really, really, really bad idea. Asset diversification is incredibly important. Here's what you need to do. And people these days are not doing it. You need to keep your head on a swivel and have hardcore situational awareness. Memorial Day is tomorrow. Okay, technically, 26 hours Memorial Day is, I don't know, if you're not an American, you may not know what the hell Memorial Day is. It's where a bunch of people died for freedoms, and of course now the government is oppressing all Americans. Thankfully, we still have those amendments, uno and dos. Amendments, wink, wink. Amendments uno and dos that still keeps us free. And this is the only reason that the United States is not suffering under the yoke of abject, abysmal, disgusting tyranny like Canada and Kiwi land, and Australia and the Netherlands. Yeah, because of those two. And here's the point I'm trying to make. I don't know about you, okay? May not probably be an American watching this, but my forefathers, grandparents also, did not fight against British tyranny and global oppression so that I would have to cower to intellectual, moral, and wisdom-deprived demons, inferiors. You know, my forefathers did not die so that I would cower to intellectual, moral inferiors. I will not, I shall not. It's not going to happen. That is part of what Memorial Day is about. You would say, well, they died for your freedoms. And some cynical person will probably say, oh, they didn't. They just stupidly served the U.S. government. Or, you know, I'm sure someone will say something really stupid like that. And they would be partially right, but they'd still be mostly wrong. Things are bad now, but compared to the tyrannies that are going on in Canada, because I hear from a lot of Canadians and Aussies, trust me, look into my eye. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I hear from a lot of Aussies, Canucks, Aussies, not the bogan kind of Aussies, the real Aussies. Kiwis and Dutch. And things are still really good here, even though things have gotten a lot better, a lot worse, excuse me. Here's what's going on. People are angry and unhinged because they're afraid. And the reason why people are afraid is because they're set in their ways and they hate change. They're scared to death about what's going on. They're kind of in a state of shock. There's good change, and of course there's bad change, of course. Nature adapts. Nature has always adapted. We have bent dogs and cats to our will. How many hundreds of thousands of years have human beings been bending the genetics of dogs? We've gone from wolves to like a billion different breeds of dogs, little Shih Tzus, little rat dogs, giant dogs, husky, the best, which of course are German Shepherds because everything best is German. Jawohl! Just kidding. They are the best dogs. You never heard of a seeing eye cat or a guard cat, have you? No. You don't train a poodle to be a guard dog. It's a German Shepherd. Think of all the millions I don't know if there's millions, I mean thousands of breeds of dogs, excuse me, over just a handful of thousands of years that we have bent to our will. So human beings will either adapt or they'll go the way of the dodo bird. Humans need to listen to their guts. The Gen Zers will call it the spidey sense. You need to listen to your spidey sense. Not to the BBC, not to the NPR. Now, I don't know if you know what NPR. NPR is the American version of BBC. They are totally corrupt and I was up in my cabin listening to the radio, just usually listening to classical music, and they're just full of so much lies and filth and trash and propaganda. It's absolutely off the Richter scale. How much lies and propaganda the NPR will spit out. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Don't listen to BBC, the NPR, to the government. Of course, I'm not telling you what to do. You make up your own mind. But this is the way of fear. These are the 20 perfectly healthy 20-somethings that are going around the grocery store scared of their own shadows like this. Oh my God, I'm afraid of my own shadow. Oh no. Now the thing is, in America, if you don't know this, that the grocery stores let you order your food online. That way you don't have to go into the grocery store. It's like the face diaper's not enough. I got to go outside and here's a buzzer and they'll bring your groceries out because, you know, even the fat, lazy guy, you know, has enough energy to go into the grocery store every time. Yet these people don't. They're afraid of their own shadow. They just don't want to interact with anybody. They want to live in their own little nutshell, not listen to anything. They can go home and turn on MSNBC and be told what to be afraid of. Oh no! Oh no! Live in fear. There's another variant coming out. Oh no! Give it a rest. Give it a rest, girlfriend. So nature adapts. Human beings will adapt. They will adapt to this tyranny. The glitch in the matrix is this age-old hydra that always comes in cycles. Then a few good men and women with a pair of cojones will step forward and say, no, no further. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Humans living in fear and who do not adapt are alas, unfortunately, are doomed. They either become victims of their own fear and their own ignorance. They stew in it. Frozen in fear, going around in face diapers, afraid of their own shadow, These are the dodo birds of humanity. Have skills, have your head on a swivel, realize that this is just a cycle, it's not a glitch in the matrix. There are a handful of demonic little demons, kind of redundant demonic demons, that think they know better than you do about how to run your own life. And people that think that evil doesn't exist, they're partially right, but they're mostly wrong. Evil is no different than a shadow. A shadow is the furthest you could get away from the light. A shadow technically doesn't exist because it is not a thing. Neither do waves exist because waves are not things. Waves are what things do. Yet, either willed or due to circumstances of choice, shadows, of course, do exist. You are privated away from that which is good, that which is natural order. The same is true of evil. People that think that demons and evil don't exist, these people are fools. They're about that much right, but they're that much wrong. Okay? A shadow doesn't exist. It is not a thing. It's an absence of light. Yet everybody knows what the hell a shadow is. But a shadow is not a thing. Shadow is an absence of something. The same is true of these people that are the heads of the Hydra. They are privated from natural order, common sense, and wisdom. They come in cycles because, what's that old saying? Strong men make for good times make for weak men make for bad times make for strong. The whole thing runs in cycles. The ancients, our ancient ancestors knew this. They talked about it endlessly. It is always going to be, it always has been, and it is nothing to be afraid of. Just like nature, human beings will either adapt or they will perish, but they will only perish at the hands of their own fear. And that is a good Memorial Day message, even if you're not an American and you don't celebrate Memorial Day. Any donation is always warmly welcome in the description below. If you ever want to contact me, send me an email, but please, God, don't include 10,000 questions. I always kind of find that both rude and upsetting. A few questions, fine. Don't some people post a string of questions. Question 1 through 30. It's geez. I'm going to pour some ice cubes over top of some San Pellegrino mineral water. I'm going to sip cool, ice-cold mineral water. And then roll my eyes to the back of my head and engage in deep thoughts and give at least a microsecond of consideration, possibly more, definitely more, to those that made this still the land of the free, even though it's way worse than it was 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 30 years ago. So, you could agree or disagree, whatever. Lux Everetas. Goodbye! Happy Memorial Day!